Top Gun Maverick is nominated for 6 Oscars, including Best Picture. Please welcome the one, the only Tom Cruise.
When you think of Tom Cruise, you think of that megawatt smile, the impossible stunts, and the billion-dollar blockbusters. He's the carefully built image of Hollywood's most disciplined and possibly its last true movie star. For over 40 years, he stayed at the absolute top of the entertainment industry. But behind the controlled public image, the handshakes, and the press tours, there's a world of whispered rivalries and bitter grudges. Now, let's be clear. Tom Cruise has never, and likely will never, sit down and read off a list of his enemies. He's far too meticulous for that. However, by piecing together decades of insider reports, public spats, and on-set accounts, a list has definitely emerged. This isn't a list from Cruise himself, but one built from the shockwaves of his intense career. It's a list of rivals he refuses to acknowledge and colleagues who dared to challenge him. Today, we're uncovering the 6 actors Tom Cruise allegedly hated most and the untold stories behind these legendary feuds. First up is an actor who has never been afraid to speak his mind, Mickey Rourke. This feud isn't a story of on-set screaming matches. It's much simpler and maybe more brutal. Pure, unfiltered professional disdain, all caught on camera. The moment that lit the fuse was in July 2022. While Cruise was riding high on the global success of Top Gun, Maverick, Mickey Rourke went on the talk show, Piers Morgan Uncensored. When Morgan asked Rourke what he thought of Cruise's success, he didn't hold back. "That doesn't mean to me," Rourke said bluntly. "The guy's been doing the same effing part for 35 years. I got no respect for that." Morgan, a bit stunned, pressed him, asking if he thought Cruise was a good actor. Rourke's reply was even sharper. "I think he's irrelevant in my world." For Rourke, great acting is about transformation, praising legends like Al Pacino and Christopher Walken. He sees Cruise not as an actor, but as a brand, playing the same hero over and over. That criticism hits the very core of Cruise's legacy. His career is built on being Tom Cruise, the hero. True to form, Tom Cruise never publicly responded. Silence is his signature move, but whispers quickly started swirling from industry insiders. The word was that Rourke's comments may have landed him on a soft blacklist. While there was no official memo, it's rumored that producers close. Cruise knew that bringing up Rourke's name for a project was a non-starter. This aligns with a long-rumored but unproven aspect of Cruise's power, his quiet influence on casting across Hollywood. Rourke, whose career has seen incredible highs and lows, seemed completely unfazed. He has a history of confrontation, but attacking arguably the most powerful actor on the planet was a bold move even for him. For Rourke, brutal authenticity beats playing the Hollywood game any day. For Cruise, who has spent decades protecting his image, such a public dismissal was likely the ultimate sign of disrespect. Next on the list is a name forever linked to one of Cruise's most iconic films, his Top Gun rival, Val Kilmer. For decades, the story of a bitter, real-life feud between Maverick and Iceman was a staple of Hollywood lore. But the truth is way more interesting, and the real tension might have been over something Cruise hated even more than a rival, a story he couldn't control. The rumors started back in 1985 during the filming of the original Top Gun. The cast and crew noticed a real distance between the two young stars. Kilmer, a Juilliard-trained method actor, later admitted in his documentary, Val, that he intentionally kept his distance to stay in character, believing it would improve their on-screen rivalry. He and his friends were the party boys, while Cruise was all business, always preparing for the next scene. This created 2 camps on set and fueled the idea of a feud. The media ate it up, but according to both actors, it was mostly fiction. Kilmer has said multiple times that he always considered Tom a friend and that they've supported each other. They reportedly even exchanged Christmas gifts every year. So if there was no real feud, why is Kilmer on this list? Because according to insider accounts, what Cruise truly hated was the narrative of the feud. Cruise meticulously controls his professional image. The idea that he was in a petty squabble with a co-star was the opposite of the professional brand he was building. The story suggested a loss of control, and that's something Cruise just doesn't tolerate. The final word on their friendship came with Top Gun: Maverick. Kilmer's career had been tragically altered by a battle with throat cancer that cost him his voice, but Cruise personally fought for his inclusion in the sequel. The resulting scene, where Maverick visits a frail Iceman who communicates via a computer, became the emotional heart of the film. Cruise himself admitted he was moved to tears while filming it, saying, "I've known Val for decades. I was crying." Kilmer said it felt like no time had passed at all, and that they blew a lot of takes laughing so much. This powerful reunion finally put the old rumors to bed, but for years, the myth of their feud was a thorn in the side of a star who demands control of his own story. This brings us to a rivalry that has defined a generation of movie stardom, a quiet, competitive Cold War between Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt. Their dynamic is the stuff of Hollywood legend, born on a difficult film shoot and fueled by 3 decades of professional competition. The setting was the 1994 Gothic horror film Interview with the Vampire. From the start, the production was tense. The author of the book, Anne Rice, was initially furious about Cruise's casting, putting immense pressure on him. Brad Pitt, playing the tormented Louis, was miserable, spending 6 months shooting almost entirely at night. The tough shoot was made worse by the clash of personalities. Pitt famously described their dynamic, saying, "He's North Pole, I'm South Pole." He explained that there was an underlying competition that got in the way of any real conversation, and admitted that Cruise bugged him. Sources from the set have said for years that they clashed badly and have never been able to move past it. For 30 years, 2 of Hollywood's biggest stars have avoided sharing the screen again, a fact that speaks volumes. Their rivalry wasn't just personal, it was professional. For decades, they were the undisputed kings of the box office. There have been recent signs of a thaw, though. In a surprising twist, Cruise attended the London premiere of Pitt's new F1 movie, which is directed by Joseph Kosinski, who also directed Top Gun: Maverick. It was their first red carpet reunion in years, but body language experts and fans online called the interaction awkward. While sources say Cruise has softened with time and even patched things up with Brad Pitt, the undercurrent of competition seems to remain. Theirs is a quiet, sustained rivalry, a 30-year chess match between 2 Hollywood kings. The next name on our list involves a much more secretive conflict, one born not on a movie set, but inside the Church of Scientology. For years, Tom Cruise and John Travolta were the church's 2 biggest celebrity members, but according to former high-ranking Scientologists, a bitter rivalry was brewing over who was closer to Scientology's leader, David Miscavige. Multiple former members have claimed that Cruise and Travolta despised each other. The root of the issue was reportedly jealousy. For a long time, Travolta was Scientology's golden boy, even being told he was the most dedicated Scientologist. That all changed when Cruise became more involved. Brendan Teig, a former security guard for both Cruise and the church, gave a detailed account of the feud. He claimed Cruise quickly became the undisputed number 2 figure under Miscavige, stating, "Cruise is the only celeb with a direct line to Miscavige. Travolta and Kirstie Alley don't have that. This gave Cruise unheard-of power and perks, like a custom airplane hangar that Travolta reportedly never got." The breaking point allegedly came in 2008. At a gala, Miscavige awarded Cruise the Scientology Freedom Medal of Valor, the church's highest honor. According to Teague, when Travolta found out, he exploded with jealousy, feeling like his title had been stripped and given to his rival. Travolta allegedly was so incensed, he dictated a scathing letter to Miscavige demanding an explanation. The tension was clear in other ways, too. When Cruise married Katie Holmes in a massive Scientology wedding in 2006, John Travolta was notably absent from the guest list. To insiders like Tige, this was the ultimate confirmation of the bad blood between them. Tige asserted, "I can assure you Travolta doesn't recognize Cruise as a superior in any way." The church, naturally, denies any rivalry exists. Both Cruise and Travolta have maintained a complete public silence on the matter, but the accounts from those who have left the church paint a clear picture of a Cold War between two stars fighting for status within a powerful and controversial organization. No list of Tom Cruise's adversaries is complete without the woman who has made it her life's work to expose him and the Church of Scientology, Leah Remini. This isn't a feud over a movie role. It's a deeply personal, ideological war that has been fought in public for over a decade. Remini, a former Scientologist, broke from the church in 2013 and has become its most relentless critic. In her book and TV series, she has made explosive claims against the church's leadership and its most powerful member, Tom Cruise. According to Remini, Cruise is a central figure of power, second only to leader David Miscavige. She has called him an awful human being to other Scientologists and asserts that any criticism of him is seen as an attack on Scientology itself. Being critical of Tom Cruise is being critical of Scientology itself. You are evil, she explained. Remini has publicly stated that Cruise has manipulated his image to be the good guy for years. She argues that his friendly public persona is a facade, protected by the church's immense resources. Can you imagine Tom being in a normal world? Like, without Scientology doing his dirty work for him? No, she recently stated. For his part, Tom Cruise has never publicly uttered Leah Remini's name. His strategy is total silence. To acknowledge her would be to give her claims a platform. But Remini's campaign has been incredibly effective, succeeding in linking Cruise's public image to the controversies surrounding Scientology. She believes that according to the doctrine Cruise follows, he must see her as a sworn enemy, literally, the devil. For an actor who values loyalty and control above all, Leah Remini represents the ultimate betrayal and the most public loss of his narrative he's ever faced. The final name is the most surprising because it's not a long-standing grudge. It's a new, evolving rivalry that, according to recent speculative reports, speaks to the changing nature of Hollywood. That name is Pedro Pascal. This alleged feud isn't about a shared set or public insult. Instead, it's a clash of philosophies, a battle between the old guard and the new school. Insider reports have claimed that Cruise, now in his 60s, privately detests Pascal. The reason is reportedly tied to Cruise's belief in what a true movie star is, someone who packs cinemas. His entire legacy is built on the big screen experience. Pedro Pascal's career, however, represents a more modern path to stardom. He moves seamlessly from streaming blockbusters like The Mandalorian to prestige TV like The Last of Us, while also headlining major films. According to these insider whispers, Cruise doesn't respect this model. One source claimed, he thinks true movie stars should stay in film rather than bouncing between movies and TV, and Tom doesn't respect it. The tension is supposedly made worse by the fact that both actors are represented by the same agency, CAA. The rumors suggest Cruise, long the agency's king, is rattled by the attention now being directed at Pascal. Now this rivalry appears to be entirely one-sided and based on speculation. Reports suggest that Pascal is completely unaware that Tom is tallying things up. Cruise, meanwhile, is reportedly monitoring everything he does, viewing him as a genuine threat. This rumored feud is fascinating because it's ideological. Is the future of Hollywood the cinema-first approach of a titan like Cruise, or the multi-platform dominance of a new star like Pascal? For Tom Cruise, Pedro Pascal's success isn't just competition, it's a challenge to his entire worldview. Behind the billion-dollar movies and the iconic on-screen run, the story of Tom Cruise is a complex mix of intense discipline, fierce loyalty, and long-held grudges. From public insults and professional rivalries to ideological battles, These 6 stories pull back the curtain on one of Hollywood's most protected figures. While Cruise himself says nothing, the stories from those around him speak volumes. They show a man who demands perfection and control, and who never forgets those who challenge him. The world of Hollywood is built on smiles and handshakes, but the real stories are often found in the silence. The megawatt smile remains, but now you know a little more about what it might be hiding. Which of these feuds surprised you the most? Is there anyone else you think should be on this list? Let us know in the comments below. And for more deep dives into the secret histories of Hollywood, make sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.